Good evening, everybody. I'm just checking that this is going out live. I'm watching myself a little bit here just to make sure people are joining. I can see Fanny's here straight away, Tony Ross is here straight away, the Hibs is here straight away. People are piling on tonight, which is good to see. Selahitin44, new username, but good evening. Scott's here. Everybody's just been jumping on. That's very good. Getting a full house very quickly. Good evening, folks. It's Monday night. That means it's time for a bit of motivation and mind hacks. I've got an awesome presentation for you guys tonight. I think you're going to enjoy. Good evening, Steve. It says, left my Twitter handle in that Facebook post. Excellent. I will make sure I follow you. Lucy's here as well. Simon's here. No work for him tonight. Simon was working when we did a live call last night for Bulletproof Actor. If you're an actor and you want to get your mindset literally bulletproof, get yourself at bulletproofactor.com and check it out. Okay, I open up registration just twice a year for a mindset program, science-backed positive psychology, specifically tailored for actors. Rachel is here. Good evening, Rachel. Thanks, everybody. And if you're watching this on Twitter and you're like, I've just stumbled across this guy and I don't know who he is, or you're seeing this on YouTube on a replay or something like that, my name's Ross. I'm an actor from Manchester. I scope twice a week, once on a Monday night, which is tonight. We do something called Motivation and Mind Hacks, which is literally that. It's a Periscope that's going to hopefully motivate you, give you some strategies, some mind hacks to help you be more productive, more motivated, ultimately get shit done in your life and career. Thank you for sharing this, Fanny. Artillery 13B is here. Good evening. And then on a Wednesday night, we do a book club where, again, we look at a book on probably like personal change or something to do with productivity, motivation, getting further, faster in your life and your career. Tonight, I'm going to give you guys a little presentation. I'm excited about this because some of the stuff I'm going to be sharing with you tonight blew my mind when I was researching it. Thank you for retweeting, Tony. And it's something like, it's almost like a little bugbear of mine, but it's something that I think is very, very important for people to get their head around, regardless of whether you're an actor. I just, you know, like I say, I'm an actor. A lot of people on here are actors, but this stuff applies to just everybody, any walk of life, whatever, you know, kind of industry you are in. You can utilize the tools that I'm going to show you tonight that you already know. You already know everything I'm going to tell you tonight in terms of the tools available, but I guarantee you none of you are using them not properly, okay? So many people and actors recently at the weekend when I went to a little meetup were telling me effectively that they couldn't do things without the help of other people. They couldn't do things. They couldn't be in a play unless someone else had written it. They couldn't be in a show unless someone else had written it. They couldn't, you know, be in a film unless someone else had written it. They were just waiting, ultimately, for permission to have any success in their life by just doing, you know, waiting for opportunities to come up that they weren't creating themselves. So I want to share some stats with you guys tonight that I think are going to blow your mind because it blew my mind when I was researching this. And ultimately, it's about asking permission for creating stuff. If you're an actor, this is super important because there's going to be way more opportunity for you to create most of the time than there is for you to actually just wait for somebody to put you in something, okay? So before we begin, and I'm going to share what I'm going to share with you tonight, share this with your followers, guys, okay? You can do that by literally clicking the button on the bottom of your app right now if you're watching via the Periscope app. You can then select whether you want to share the broadcast and then select whether you want to put it out on Facebook or Twitter or wherever your people are. Already shared, says Steve. Thank you. Jenny Roberts, is your first day on Periscope. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Mary's here as well. Just seeing you join, Mary. Good evening. But yeah, share this out, guys, because I think it's going to help people. If you've got actors in your follower lists on, you know, friends on Facebook or on Twitter, it's going to really help as well. And I want to know, for a start, thanks, Si, for sharing. I want to know to begin with, who is creating their own content right now when it comes to getting themselves out there in the arena as an actor, as a presenter, as a voiceover artist, as whatever you are. I mean, ultimately, you could run any kind of business. And you can utilize what I'm going to show you tonight. But who's doing this? Fanny, I've seen you recently launch something called Improv Share and Dare. Dare and Share, I think it's called. The hashtag on Twitter, where you do improvisation with people on Twitter. You've kind of launched your own little thing via Twitter and Periscope, which is really cool. I mean, you're watching me via Periscope tonight. Finally, you've got your own thing set up as well, which is great. So it's the scariest thing ever. Thanks for sharing, Si. But you're doing it, Fanny. Ultimately, you're doing it. And that's, you know, better than 99% of people that I meet, because 99% of people just want to slate anyone who is kind of doing it, or they want to criticize, but they're not actually doing it themselves. So let me know if you have your own thing as of yet, guys, and what it is that you're actually doing just whilst people are sharing this. And then I'm going to show you some stats of all of the tools online that you probably already know of, that I guarantee you 90% of them you're not using, and you're missing out on potentially 3 billion, literally 3 billion opportunities a day to be seen by people, and you don't know where that's going to take you or where that's going to end up. Steve, Sai says, friend has written something and has a meeting to film, for a film booked in for the 15th of Feb. Oh, so if your friend has written something and you're going to be in that. Okay, cool. That's really, really good. That's great. That's content obviously someone else is creating that you're going to be in. I'm talking about stuff that you are creating yourself, though, Si. Anything online, any channels that you've got, anything that you go hard on. That sounded a bit weird, but go to town on when it comes to social media. Because let me share some of this stuff with you guys. I want to share, ultimately, the biggest platforms online that you can use to create your content, put it out on, be seen, and ultimately have infinite more opportunity in your life and acting career if you are using these things on a daily basis. I've started doing my improv videos. I'm not working so people can see me work. It's great, Fanny, though. What you're doing, you know, some people will call you mental and they'll say, oh, have you seen this? It's you know, it's outlandish and crazy, because you are quite outlandish sometimes and quite funny and a bit quirky and a bit mental. I love it, though. But you probably will get, as I get, people. I know there's people who will watch one of my scopes or something like this, or any of the coaching that I do and that kind of thing, and go, "Who's this guy? You know, why should I listen to this guy?" or that kind of thing. You should listen to me because my hat is in the ring multiple times a week, and I'm constantly creating. I would like to think I'm prolific when it comes to creating online content. Thus, people can't help but see you. They're not all going to like you. Of course they're not. Some people will be upset with you for what you're doing. But if you're not creating, then you're not going to please anybody, because you're not going to find anybody if you're not putting stuff out there. The first channel that I want you guys to just look at now, and let me give you some stats. Tony Rossi, I know you're going to love this, is, well, actually, I'm going to share it with you in a second, because I want to, I've got this slide. I forgot I had this, actually. Ultimately, 20 years ago, guys, if you wanted to get your work out there to the world, you really needed the backing of a TV network. You either needed a radio broadcaster or some major publisher, newspaper printer. The introduction of the internet changed everything. And just think, the internet is so young, guys. Like, commercially, it's just 17 years old. Rachel said she's just 17. Rachel, the internet was around when you were just born. She's going to every masterclass workshop that there is. So yeah, I mean, that's awesome, Rachel. I would recommend you start looking, particularly at that age, at doing some of the stuff we're going to talk about tonight. So yeah, the internet has only been around 17 years commercially, really. So it's so young, and yet so many people now tell me, oh, I'm too late to the party. I'm too late to create my own stuff online because people have been doing it for years. I'm too late now. It's all, like, saturated. Bullshit. You're lying to yourself. 17 years old. It's so ridiculously young. It's as young as Rachel is, and you are young, Rachel. We have never had more online content publishing resources available to us, guys, and yet most actors are still asking for king permission to get their work out in front of an audience. So tonight I want to blow your mind with some killer stats on the potential reach that you are missing out on right now if you are not creating your own stuff. So like I said before, the first network I want to introduce you to, you're going to know it, you're going to know exactly what it is, you're probably going to have used it, but I bet you're not using it to your full advantage, and that's Periscope. It's what you're on right now. Okay, now Periscope is really young. It's only been around 12 months, but already the number of Periscope users is 10 million users, okay? The number of daily active users is 2 million, okay? And the number of Periscope broadcasts that there has been to date is 200 million. I want to know how many of those were you. There's probably about 160 of those are mine. I did 2 a week. I did for the first month I did Periscope. I did 1 every night for 30 days. But Periscope, yeah, is linked to Twitter. It's owned by Twitter. So if you're watching this on Twitter and not by the Periscope app, you can't comment. So you can see, you might be able to see the comments, but you can't comment. Rachel said she's just discovered it. Rachel, it is awesome. You literally have a broadcast, kind of studio in your pocket with your phone. If you've got Twitter and Periscope, you can go live like you can on Facebook Live anywhere you are, okay? And whether that is to film a performance you're doing, talk on the way to an audition, just chew the fat online with people and get feedback on some ideas you might be having. If you're not using Periscope, you're missing out on massive engagement. Mary said, notice you couldn't comment, so I've come back via Periscope. Exactly, so you can watch on Twitter, and this will go out to 14,000 people, this scope right now, and on Twitter there will be a few hundred people watching this live right now. They can't comment. If you are watching this live, download the app from periscope.tv, check it out, okay, and then subscribe to Acts on This TV, the channel on Periscope, and you'll get to join in these Periscopes every single time that we do them, and you can comment. So you can actually interact with me, and you can comment, and we can discuss stuff. Tony says, did you have a long-term plan for Periscope when you did one every day? The reason I did one every day, Tony, is I do a lot of positive habit creation, and from what I've researched, positive habits take 30 days to form. Now, I was a little bit, it was for my own benefit, but also for viewers' benefit. The reason I did 30 days straight when I first started Periscope was I wanted to not only create a positive habit in myself, I wanted to get you guys and all the people who've been with me from the beginning used to watching me on Periscope every day for 30 days. So I not only created a habit in myself, I actually sneakily created a habit in you guys so that you would actually value the scopes and then want to be a part of them after that 30 days. So those who did stick with me, there's been people on here, Fanny, Tony, all you guys, you've been here for every single Periscope, more or less. I've done 160 now over the last sort of 12 months. Fanny says she's done 30 days at the gym and yet she still doesn't feel it's a habit. You'll get there, Fanny. Scott says he's a dinosaur, doesn't have a decent phone. I'm using PC to watch for now. That's all right, Scott. How are you commenting if you're using a PC? Do they let you comment on a computer now? I didn't even know Periscope had done that. I'd activated that. But Periscope is awesome. It's a great platform. Absolutely, it's a really, really cool platform. Rachel says she's from Manchester as well. Yeah, I'm from Manchester as well, Rach. It is an awesome place for TV and theatre. So yeah, you've got 10 million. Now that sounds a lot, but it's nowhere near as much as I'm gonna share with you now on other platforms. So Periscope is a cool platform, but it's new. So we've got 10 million users, 2 million daily users. Okay. Tony says he's commented on a computer, but there's a delay. I didn't even know you could comment on a computer now. That's awesome. So if you're watching on Twitter, get yourself over at periscope.tv/Act on This TV, and you can probably comment right now. Which is great. So yeah, and then there's been 200 million broadcasts today. So they're kind of sound like big figures, but they're nothing compared to what I'm going to show you. But that's a kind of reach you're missing out on as an actor if you are not utilizing Periscope. Potentially 2 million pairs of eyeballs on you every single day. Next up, Twitter, okay, who own Periscope. Active Twitter users right now, 1.3 billion. Monthly active users, 310 million. 500 million people visit the site each month without logging in. So you've got the active users of 310, plus another 500 million who don't even log in. They can still read tweets, they can watch videos, but they don't actually log into the site. They visit it and they can look at stuff. I think if it's linked directly, you can still look at stuff. I think sometimes you will hit the sign-in wall. But ultimately, it shows how many people are going to twitter.com. And then you've got 208 followers is the average number of followers. So a lot of people go, oh, but I don't use Twitter because I've hardly got any followers. If you've got anything around 208, you've got the average amount of followers. Anything above that, you're above average, guys. So don't count yourself out and think you're shit if you've got 300 followers, all right? Doesn't matter. If you're not utilizing Twitter to upload your showreel as an actor, to upload any showreel scenes or clips from TV or theatre or anything you want to put on, improvisations like Fanny does, you're missing out, even if you only got 208 followers, on potentially 208 pairs of eyeballs, not to mention the amount of casting directors, agents, other actors, theatre companies, TV producers, content, developers. The acting industry, for me, the #1 social platform for the acting industry in the UK. Tony's in America. I don't know if it's different over there. But it's Twitter. So without a doubt, it's Twitter in the UK. That is where the UK acting industry hangs out, in my opinion, when it comes to social media. Fanny says she got really great feedback on Twitter, more than any other platform. Someone, I missed their comment, has 1,600 followers, so that's way over average. Hipster's at 110, so you're only, you're just below average, Hipster. You can get that up by creating compelling content, though, uploading stuff and interacting. Rachel's got 500 and odd. So you got double the average number there, Rach, and you probably think, oh, well, because I don't have 150,000 like some of these, bigger actors, or 1 million or 80 million like Katy Perry. I'm rubbish. You're not. Fanny's at nearly 7,000. There you go. So you're way, 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 way above average. And I just thought it was an interesting fact. 83% of the world's leaders are on Twitter. You know, so if the people who literally lead the world, although it doesn't really say very much for Donald Trump right now, are on Twitter, there's no reason why you shouldn't be utilising it. But I think they're quite incredible stats. 1.3 billion Twitter users and 310 million who actually actively use it on a monthly basis. Lucy just reached 300. Been on Twitter 12 months. Awesome, Luce. And Showreel Share Day, yeah, is a huge... So the hashtag Showreel Share Day happens probably twice a year. Is a huge, massive opportunity on Twitter. The biggest agents and actors in the industry get involved on it that day when it happens on like the 2 or 3 occasions it happens each year. And if you're not on Twitter, you're missing out on a massive opportunity there. So Twitter's a big one. So Periscope and Twitter for me, I love them. I think they're great. You're probably watching me on Twitter right now, or you're watching me on Periscope right now. They're fantastic platforms, and I think they're one of the most, well, they're 2 of the most important platforms. Twitter, particularly if you're an actor in the UK. Next up, we cannot possibly forget YouTube, guys. YouTube is massive. Who's got a YouTube channel? Give me a yes or a no if you've got one. If you've uploaded your showreel to YouTube, do you have a web series you've uploaded to YouTube? Do you do regular stuff on YouTube? Rachel was at Surviving Actors in London. Heard a casting director hadn't heard of Twitter. A casting director hadn't heard of Twitter. That's a bit mental. Simon says yes. Steve says yes. Lucy says yes. So it looks like a lot of people are using YouTube. 1 billion plus users on YouTube. There are hundreds of millions of minutes of video consumed every single day. Oh, a casting director hadn't heard of Showreel Share Day. I thought you meant they hadn't heard of Twitter. I was going to go, where have they been? Have they been like under a rock for the last decade? And Tony's got a YouTube channel, doesn't promote it much, but he uploads to Facebook Live videos. He uploads to Facebook Live videos there. Yeah, that's good. So I always upload my Periscope recordings to YouTube. So you might even be watching this as a recording on YouTube. But there's hundreds of millions. I mean, it blows my mind. I couldn't get an absolute stat off YouTube. They wouldn't give me one. They just said hundreds of millions of video uploaded each day. Minutes, that is. It's watched in more than 88 countries, so it covers almost the entire globe. 76 languages. And it reaches, this is interesting, it reaches more 18 to 34 and 18 to 49-year-olds, which is really just 18 to 49, isn't it? So I don't know why they gave me those 2 stats. But 18 to 49-year-olds than any cable network in the US. So for a lot of people, a lot of actors hold back and they're like, oh, you know what, I need to be on TV to be successful. If I could just get a job on TV. Bullshit! You needed to be on TV in the 80s. If you wanted to have eyeballs on you and have success. Actually, I think, in my opinion, TV is dying. TV is becoming what the radio was in the 50s. And now the internet, YouTube, all these platforms we're talking about are becoming what the TV was to radio. And if you're not, in this game right now, you're seriously missing out. But in a few years' time, you're going to be missing out even more because you won't have spent these months and these years that you can do now building up a channel. People are saying, oh, but I'm too late to the party. Like I said, the internet itself has only really been in existence commercially for 17 years. YouTube started when did YouTube actually begin? Like, was it 2005? Something like that? Or, in terms of when it became, it was becoming very much the norm. It's only really a decade. So you've still got plenty of time to get some of those billion-plus pairs of eyes on you. Sai says there, better late than never. Yeah, definitely. Well, it's just, massive quote that I think is super relevant here is first isn't always best. You don't always have to be first to the party to be best, okay? So if you've got material, maybe you made a short film and it's sitting on your hard drive. Maybe you're like, you know what, I would love to put up some of my performances from an acting class that I just haven't uploaded. So Mary says, what would you suggest we do on YouTube? So just that, Mary. Obviously, very, very simply, and the most obvious is your show reel. Other people, you might just have, maybe you're into presenting. So I love presenting. That's one of the reasons why I do these Periscopes. I knew that no one was just going to give me a presenting gig on the TV, although that's a big goal of mine. So I went, right, well, you know what? I'm going to create my own chat show, ultimately. And I'm going to start off very simple. Very, very simple, and now I've moved up to doing 4K multi-camera shoots, broadcast quality stuff that go on YouTube with some of the biggest actors in the industry. I didn't start off like that. I started off very, very simply on Skype, interviewing people over the phone sometimes. But now I have a YouTube channel where I promote that. I put all my Periscopes on YouTube. I put teasers to some of the features that I'm doing on Act on This on YouTube. But equally, you know, if it was my own channel and I was just like, right, I'm an actor, then I would go, right, well, you know, if I've got any clips from acting classes that I'm in that I'm thinking that's a really, really good performance, I'm going to put that on. I'm going to put all of the full showreel scenes that I've had, you know, filmed, as opposed to just the clips that you would have in a montage of a reel. Well, not a montage, but, you know, if you have your acting reel, you don't have the full scene in your reel, do you? You might show like 15, 20 seconds of it. So I would upload every full scene, clips from me in TV shows. Maybe I'd do a weekly vlog on what it's like to be an actor in the industry right now, maybe document. A lot of people go, I don't know what to do. I need to create something to be creative. You don't. Some of the most interesting concepts that I ever watch are documentations of what people are doing. It's just documenting where you're at in your career. And you can gain a massive following and a huge understanding just from that, because people will relate to that and go, you know what, I'm in the same boat as Mary or Fanny and all these people, and I'm going to, you know, tune in. Then you make contacts, you meet new people. They might not be casting directors, there might be other actors, but ultimately you're throwing your hat into the arena and going, I'm available. An independent filmmaker might watch one of your things, put you in something, and then he goes on to direct something massive on TV, might remember you, put you in something else. You know, Chris Stone, great friend of mine, you all know him, great independent director. It's only a matter of time before that guy is working on big, big stuff, either TV or film. Right now he does web series that I'm involved in and a lot of you guys are involved in. But I know that that's somebody who is using YouTube very well. I want to be a part of it. People see him, see me, see all of you guys who are in it. And you don't know what's going to, you know, lead on from that. You're only ever a couple of steps away from, you know, something quite big happening if you get enough people to watch your stuff and you're good. I mean, ultimately, guys, you have to put content on that's interesting. But that, you know, you're supposed to be creative. You're supposed to be actors, you know, act, be creative, put some stuff on. But there's a billion, okay? So we had, what did we have before? So we've already had 1.3 billion on Twitter, 10 million on Periscope, and 1 billion plus on YouTube. So we're up to... you know, a good, two and a half billion almost. Some of those users will be multiples in terms of they'll be the same user on Twitter or YouTube, but you've got two places there to try and hit them. How do I deal with the negativity? What are you talking about, Mary? When you've put stuff online and people give you negative comments? Is that what you're talking about? Or how do you mean? Because you just accept that that's going to happen. People send me emails telling me to stop sending them shit through email, even though it's not shit. And they're the ones who signed up to my email list in the start. You know what, though? I couldn't give two hoots because you can't please everybody. And you know what? I almost kind of like... I thrive off some of that as well, you know? I'm like, well, you know what? You can say what you want, but I am throwing my hat in the ring. You're not. You're probably sitting back and letting fear rule your life. And then to make yourself feel better so you're not losing significance, you're then making negative comments on somebody else to make yourself feel better about not doing it yourself. Fanny says, I get called a wanker by strangers when I post videos. Ho-hum. There you go. Haters are a sign we are doing something right, says Tony. You're going to get them. You know, when Beyonce gets haters online, you know, and people like that who are actually, you know, ridiculously talented, which they all do, you take it with a pinch of salt because, you know, you only need one amazing comment in a sea of 100 negative ones, and for me, that's all worth the while. So there's another billion users on YouTube you can tap into there. Next up, let's not forget Facebook, all right? One of the biggest platforms out there, and has now got some incredible tools for video. 1.86 billion monthly Facebook users, guys. 1.15 billion users via mobile. The reason I put that statistic there is to show that people can watch you from wherever they are. Most people are using Facebook on their phones, all right? Not even on their desktops. So it's even more powerful. You can capture people on their dinner break, on a train, on the bus, you know, on a plane. Wherever they are, they can have the mobile with them. And all casting directors have the mobile, agents, other actors. It's just massive. You know, you can always get your stuff in front of people. You could even like run Facebook ads on a short film you're doing and have that pop up. You could run Facebook ads on your showreel if you wanted to. You can run Facebook ads on anything. And you can use Facebook Live for video as well, make events live. You can broadcast pre-recorded video live if you're tech savvy enough and you've got the software to do that. I'm going to broadcast you something pre-recorded tonight. via a live broadcast. So although this is live, the video you're going to watch at the end of this scope isn't live. It's pre-recorded, but you can get, super tech savvy and do stuff like that. The average time per Facebook visit is a sizable 20 minutes, more than enough to watch your show reel, more than enough to watch a short film. They're generally 10, 15, 20 minutes. 80% of Instagram. Why have I got Instagram on there? I've clearly put an Instagram stat on a Facebook slide there, but for your record, 80% of Instagram users come from outside the US. That'll be Instagram, obviously, is coming up next, so I don't know how that's got on there. This was quite an interesting fact, guys. On Thursdays and Fridays, Facebook engagement is 18% higher. So if you are putting content out there, video, and you want to get more views on it and more shares and more likes, make it go a bit more viral, Thursdays and Fridays are the best days to post on Facebook. So I thought that was quite a cool thing to know. And these are all stats directly from Facebook. So they're not made up. These are from inside Facebook Insights. So you can actually see what's going on. I covered all of these in a social media course I went to 2 weeks ago. Nice, Fanny. Didn't know you'd done that. But yeah, so I mean, there's some awesome stats right there. There's another 1.86 billion. So what does that put us up to? That's like, potentially nearly 5 billion pairs of eyeballs, or 5 billion opportunities, because there might be the same person on each of these platforms. But there's 5 billion opportunities there to have some of your stuff seen by somebody. Next up, we have got Instagram. Of course we have, because I put that stat on the wrong slide. Instagram, 500 million followers, and another 500 million followers on Instagram. 95 million photos and videos are shared every single day. 95 million photos and videos shared every single day. Crazy. 80% of Instagram users come from outside the US. The reason I put that on there is because up until now, I've always used Instagram, guys, but I've always felt that Instagram was, more viral, was, a bigger platform in America. So I went, all right, I want to see how many people are using it in the UK. And it's actually more people than are in America. 80% of users are from outside the US, which kind of was startling to me because I thought it would be the other way around. So I'm now going to start taking Instagram way more seriously than I have been, because for me, it's always been a bit of fun. I use Instagram stories to show people what I'm doing in my day. I think that's quite interesting. And Act on This does have an Instagram account, but I barely use it, if I'm honest. I always use Twitter. Rach says, I like Instagram. I have about 2,200 followers, but I prefer Twitter. I think Twitter's, very, just very easy to use, isn't it? It's very easy and, great conversations. If anything's going on in the world, you go to Twitter to see what people are commenting on. Instagram is definitely a more creative platform. And as Fanny says there, hashtags are imperative to getting your content seen. So yeah, 12% more engagement I've got at the bottom there if you use at least one hashtag on average on Instagram. Now, for those who don't know what a hashtag is, you literally write a hashtag and then write a word after it without a space after the hashtag. And it effectively tags your photo. You can use hashtags on any platform, but on Instagram, they're particularly powerful. You can tag your photo, hashtag acting, hashtag actor's life is a very popular one, hashtag actor, hashtag casting, hashtag audition. And you will get much better results if you use at least one hashtag. If you use all of those, then anybody in the industry is probably going to, who's got hashtag awareness, is going to search for those, and your content will be seen more easily. And Instagram users like, when you double tap the screen, you like a picture. They get 4.2 billion posts get liked every day, which is mental. And look at that. I can see Jennifer Roberts has just started following Act on This on Instagram. Thank you, Jen, if you're watching this live. So, yeah, I mean, Instagram, for me, I'm going to take it way more seriously now, guys. Now I know that 80% of users are from outside the US. I know a lot of those users are in Europe and in the UK. So, yeah, I think it's something we should actually start looking at a little bit more seriously. But there's another 500 million people. So that takes on to about, 5.5 billion potential opportunities if you're using all of these platforms so far. And then we've got Vimeo. Now, I did a live call for the Bulletproof Actor crew last night. Check out bulletproofactor.com, like I say, if you want to know what that is and how to get involved with that. And we were talking about show reels. And actually, Vimeo, I didn't realize how many opportunities there are on Vimeo to have your show reel seen in better ways and higher quality ways than there are on YouTube. Okay, 35 million members on Vimeo, 280 million viewers on a monthly basis and 715 million video views every single month. Okay, that's crazy. Now, as Si just said there on the comments, Vimeo have groups, and I didn't know this till Chris Stone told me about this last night, but Vimeo actually have groups of actors and filmmakers, and all the videos are set into groups. So you can join a group of actors or you can join a group of filmmakers and post your showreel or your scene or whatever it is, get involved with chat with filmmakers, get involved with chat with producers. There's a load of great conversation goes on Vimeo that doesn't happen on YouTube, because YouTube's a little bit more of a, you know, Johnny everyone. Everybody posts their stuff on YouTube, and obviously everyone from all industries, all walks of life. Vimeo is very much more a filmmaker, serious filmmaker platform, and people within the creative industry, filmmakers, script writers, all areas, you know, from comedy to horror, thriller, you know, whatever. Basically, you'll find a group for every kind of genre of film. For particular filmmakers from the UK, so UK filmmaking group, an independent filmmaking group, UK actors group, lots of groups on there that until last night I was unaware of. So again, Vimeo is going to be something that I'm going to be looking into a lot more now. From doing this research, for me, Instagram and Vimeo are going to be areas that I really kind of go all in on and just see what happens. I'm still going to utilize YouTube. Twitter is one of the main platforms that I use, but Vimeo is another big one. And again, 715 million video views every single month. How many of those video views were yours last month? There was 0 were mine last month, because I don't have a presence on there at all. I want a piece of that 715 million, so I will start using it. So they were my 6 platforms, guys. So reverse, we got 6 is Vimeo, 35 million on there, 500 million on Instagram, 1.86 billion on Facebook, 1 billion plus on YouTube, 1.3 billion on Twitter, and the cool 10 million right here on Periscope. So if we add those up generally, it's like what, 1.3, 2.3, 3.3, it's about 4.5 billion. You're looking close to 5 billion potential opportunities every single day to have your stuff seen, whether you're an actor or you're anything. If you've got any content, any videos, anything you want to get out there, then you're missing out if you're not using these platforms. Do you recommend Facebook actor page? Most tell me it's a no-no. We were talking about this last night, Mary, and we've seen people use their own like pages, professional pages on Facebook as an actor. Let me come back to the camera instead of just showing you all these slides for it. We'll come back to the slides in a sec. Yeah, we've seen some people really utilising it, like, really well. Now, for me, there's a couple of things you've got to do to maintain a page, and that is create content regularly. And whether that's status updates, photographs, updates on what you're doing in your career, maybe a weekly vlog. I know an actor recently has just launched a weekly blog. Every Monday she does a 3-minute video online, just giving people updates, which is quite interesting if you're in the industry. You've got to put out content regularly. If you create a like page and you just put your showreel up on a picture once and you leave it for 6 months and it's a ghost town, just pointless. You might as well just not have it, because your showreel, you're probably going to forget about it. Your showreel goes out of date, and it's just outdated material that's on there. If you're going to commit to it, all of these platforms, I would be like, you know, initially, if you're not on any, commit to one, go all in on it. When you've got a handle on that, and you understand how it works, and you know how you can create that content and kind of recreate it for the other platforms quite quickly, then expand out. For me, I started out on Twitter. I always had a YouTube channel for Act on this, but it's only recently I've started to kind of really look at that and revamp it, redesign it, get the thumbnails right on all the videos. I've got a live call happening on actonthis.tv with a friend of mine whose video I'm going to show you in a minute. It's a guy called NavBK. He owns a YouTube channel called Absolute Motivation. Fantastic motivational videos. I'm going to play you one at the end of this. And he has around about, I don't know, he's got like 400,000 subscribers. He gets, some of his videos have had like 4 million views. He's awesome, and he's got some ninja tips and tactics on what it takes to create a great YouTube channel, how to get views on your videos. He's going to do a live broadcast on actonthis.tv that you guys will be able to tune into for free live. If you join on the night, you'll be able to join in for free live. So we're going to talk about tactics on getting your stuff seen on YouTube. But Facebook, yeah, is powerful if you're going to create regular content. YouTube is powerful if you're going to create regular content. All of these are powerful if you're going to create regular content. And that's going to be the thing that keeps you fresh as well. And when you're not working, it's still going to be the thing that makes you feel like you are, because you're in charge of your own destiny. You're not asking, like I said, I've titled the scope, for permission to be successful. You're not going, I can only be creative and I can only be an actor when it's on someone else's terms. I can only be an actor when someone else has written the show, when someone else is filming the show, when someone else is directing the show. Bullshit. We've never lived in a time that's more resource heavy than it is now. Your problem isn't your resources that are available to you. It is your resourcefulness. Half of the people who will watch this scope just can't be arsed. They're like, oh yeah, I'm an actor, brilliant. Well, what are you actually doing? What are you actually doing by sitting at home telling your friend you're an actor, waiting for the phone to ring? Because you ain't going to get anywhere. You know, maybe 1 in a million people will get somewhere because the phone will ring and it'll be an opportunity that they probably don't even deserve. But if you're out there putting out consistent content, you can have way more opportunity come to you. I'm screaming, yes, Ross, says Fanny. I have found you can't expect things to come to you. You have to make them happen. You absolutely do. Yes, 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 says Si. Yes, 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 says Fanny. It's so true. I get on a little rant now and again, but people are just like so fucking apologetic for wanting to be an actor, for wanting to have work. I can't possibly put my show reel out. I can't possibly do that because what if it offends someone? Who gives a shit? You have to invest in your future, says Steve. Yeah, you do. I absolutely am like I said at the start, I'll just put as much content out as I possibly can. If people like it, then that's fantastic. I get great feedback. Equally, I'll get the odd knobhead who just for some bitter reason just wants to leave a negative comment. And it's almost just laughable. And you go, brilliant. You know, that's more of a reflection on you than it is of me. You know, you can be like that if, you know, I'm seeing your content. Oh, wait a minute, you aren't producing any. Okay, I'll see you in 2020. Let's see who's more successful. Let's see who's doing what. This is Brill, thank you. Much appreciated, said Rachel. Thank you, Rachel, for joining in. So, yeah, ultimately, you need to start producing, guys, okay? And I've got a list here of just a few things that I thought before I went live on what you could produce. Got to put yourself out there. It's the business, says Si, you do. And just motivation to keep going, says Steve. Absolutely. So, one, guys, publish a live show on Periscope. Just do it. That's what I've done here. No one came to me and went, Ross, you should do a Periscope. I discovered Periscope and went, right, I'm going to throw my hat into the King Arena. I'm going to do a live show every night for 30 days, see what happens. If people like it, I'll do it twice a week from there on out. Upload your show reel to Twitter right now if you're not on it and you're not utilizing those. How many people do we say were on Twitter? Let's just go back. 1.3 billion, all right? 310 million people a month are potentially missing out on your show reel or any of your creative input. It doesn't even have to be someone in the acting industry to appreciate your stuff. You know, we don't just want to appeal to agents and casting directors. That's bullshit in itself. You only want to go through those guys in the end to actually get to an audience, you know, who would be the TV viewers. If that's what you want to be, a TV actor, and you want to have viewers at TV, you don't need permission from those people to get viewers. Upload your stuff to Twitter, get those viewers right now on their phone, in their homes. It's not via their TV. Who cares? They're still watching your stuff. 3, create a YouTube channel. Document in your acting career. You don't need to be creative in terms of I've got to come up with something and write a script. Document. Don't create, just document. It's just as interesting. It is for me. I love watching. It's almost like reality TV, isn't it? I love watching people's journeys and what they're doing. It's fascinating. And you don't know who's going to be watching. I might go, you know what? These are great. I'm going to give them an opportunity. Someone could stumble across your stuff. Create a YouTube channel and document. Create a web series on YouTube. Check out yearofspies.com. That's Chris Stone's web series that I'm involved with. Yearofspies.com. That will give you inspiration. Incredible. He's an amazing filmmaker, Chris. It's all up on YouTube. He's done another one called Blood and Bone China. They're massive. Some of these web series can be bigger than TV shows, guys. They get more views than TV shows do these days. Run a Facebook ad campaign promoting the short film you made last year that might be sitting on your hard drive and doing nothing. You know, use Facebook video, Facebook Live. Again, document your career. Put a Facebook Live video out when you know on your walk to your audition from your train station. Get eyeballs on you. Let people know what you are doing. You know, how are you being... We did a thing last night on perception, how you're being perceived. And the definition of perception ultimately is how people become aware of you. That's their perception of you. So if you're not publishing anything, then no one can become aware of you. So look at how you're being perceived in the industry. Use Facebook, like I say. If you want to use Instagram and you don't know what to do, just take one photo a day that inspires you and post it on Instagram, because the chances are it's going to inspire other people. Use those hashtags. Other actors might find it. Other people in the industry might find it, or whatever industry you're in. You can use Instagram for your own means. Whatever. And then join filmmaker and acting groups on Vimeo and join forces with those people in those groups. That's something that I'm going to be looking at doing, finding and discovering new independent filmmakers, and ultimately just having a nice chat on Vimeo, which is a platform I just completely underutilized. I just have never really used Vimeo. And some big advantages of putting your show reel and your stuff on Vimeo as well. The quality is better because Vimeo have a better video codec. So in terms of the actual look of your stuff, it keeps a higher quality than YouTube. And you can also allow people to publicly download your files. So if you had a show reel on YouTube and a casting director was like, I want to keep a local copy of this on my hard drive because I know I'm going to be on a train, I'm not going to have internet access, but I'd like to watch it. You can enable that and people can just download it. It's a great platform. You can't do that on YouTube. Peter Carroll loves Vimeo. I made one because he told me, says Steve. And I'm missing Fanny's comments and a conversation with Scott. I've missed out on that, but something's going on. So I wanted to end on a quote, guys, and I want to play you a little video that I think is going to inspire you to actually get shit done this week. And the quote is from Theodore Roosevelt, and he says, "It's not the critic who counts." We've spoken about this. It's not the haters, guys. Bullshit to them. It's not the critic who counts. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena. So I challenge you, anyone who's watching this, regardless if it's live or on the replay, on Twitter, on Periscope, on Facebook, on YouTube, wherever I end up posting this video, on Vimeo now, because I probably will post it up there, put your hat in the ring, throw it in, see what happens. The haters are going to hate. No one cares. It's not about them. It's about you. Fanny says Katy Perry has the most Twitter followers. Well, tweet Katy Perry, get a retweet off her. You never know where your show reel end up then. She's probably got about 80 million if she's got the most in the world. Do you have a favourite ways to mix things up and add value to your audience in addition to acting? That's what we were talking about, says Fanny. So Tony, in terms of mixing stuff up, what I like to do is, my content that I do, a lot of it's coaching and a lot of it is, my career is kind of tied into a lot of, even what I'm doing now. Ultimately, people in the UK industry know me not just as an actor and a voiceover artist, but they know me from the coaching that I do. So it's all kind of intertwined, and it wasn't a coincidence that I set up Acts on This, a site where I interview some of the most influential people in the industry. It wasn't a coincidence that I decided to do that, and I was an actor as well. I was like, you know what? Not only is this going to have a positive influence on the industry as a whole and going to help other people, but obviously I myself am going to make great contacts. So a lot of the content I produce, although it might not necessarily be me acting, it's me interacting with people in the acting industry, and I make great connections and great networks that benefit me, from that. In terms of me offering value, obviously I think the interviews and stuff that I do and stuff like this I do is giving value. It's all completely free. I don't charge for it, anything like that. There's some premium stuff that does get charged for, because Act on This is a site that raises money for charity as well. So I have to charge a premium for some of the content on there, and then that money gets donated to charities that the guests decide on when they come on the site. So that's value that I add. But for me, the extracurricular stuff and the most fun stuff is when I whip my phone out, either on Periscope like this, or Facebook Live, or Instagram Live, and I just talk. I don't plan it. I'm just like, right, you know what, guys? I'm on my way home from Starbucks, and I've just been to an audition, or I've just done a voiceover job. This is what I've learned. Let's have a conversation. And that, for me, is some of the most interesting content you can produce. And it doesn't have to be slick and have slides like I've had tonight. You don't have to be like, oh, I have to have a microphone like this. Some of the best stuff and the most interesting conversations I have with my audience are literally just from my phone, just this. And it's just me walking down the street, having a chat and responding to comments. Everybody here can do that. Sometimes I'll be in a studio doing a voiceover, and we'll have a 15-minute break, and I'll turn the camera around on the engineer or the director and go, right, let's have a chat. I'll post it as a Facebook Live video in the Act on This Facebook group, and then 4,000 actors get the benefit of my session. And, seeing me work and having the access to that director or that producer. And people love doing that. But I guarantee you, most actors who do something like, who work on an ADR session or a read-through or something like that, they'll be too shit scared to do it because it's not the done thing. Oh my God, I've got to ask permission. No, you don't. You obviously have to, you have to make sure people are happy to do it, but you don't have to almost ask permission to ask. You just ask. and people can either say yes or no. Most people I've done it with are like, yeah, it's cool, film me, it's not a problem. This is amazing that you do it. Most people would never do it, says Rach. Yeah, no, they don't. Because they're too shit scared, Rach. But ultimately, everybody in this industry is no different to any other human being, right? And people put people in the acting industry or entertainment on a crazy pedestal as if they're not human. They are, and human beings naturally just love to help people. So if I'm in a session and I'm like, guys, we've got 15 minutes before I get the train and no one's doing anything, can I do a little Facebook Live tour of the studio? And then I'll ask the director if they do a little Q&A with the people who are tuning in. And people might say, oh, how do you get into voiceover? How do you get into animation? I've been doing a lot of animation recently. And I did a live video with a director and engineer, Hannah and Rob, at a facility down the road in Manchester called Flix. A huge facility. They do some of the biggest projects on the planet. And they're fine. They're like, yeah, sweet, we'll answer some questions. Because they love it. The people love helping people. But a lot of people are just too afraid to ask for help. And as I always say, life will pay any price you ask of it, but what are you asking for? And most actors are not asking for enough. So that's how I like to add value. Ultimately, I just go, you know what? Would I enjoy watching it? And if I would, as an actor, then there's going to be other actors who watch it. Obviously, there's going to be other actors who are like, this is shit. I don't care. Really don't mind. As long as I'm serving some people, I'm happy with that. And even if it's one person out of 100, my job is done. Like, seriously. You get everything you want out of your life by helping other people get what they want out of their lives. So you've just got to do it for the greater good, as opposed to feeling insecure or like, I can't do this. So I hope that's helped, guys. Ultimately, I really wanted to just share the message that there's potentially 5 billion opportunities a day, literally, that people are missing out on if you're not using those platforms. And you don't have to use them all at once, because that's going to overwhelm you, and you're probably going to be spreading yourself too thin. So choose at least one of those platforms we talked about tonight that you're not on, or maybe you are on and you've not used for 6 months. Go hard on that platform for the next 6 weeks, and then feed back to me what it's done for you, what comments you've had, whose lives you've affected. You know, some of the no doubt dodgy comments you're going to get, they're all just as valid. Tony says, that's great, good stuff. Always look for ways to add value. Yeah, honestly, it's all about that, Tony. It's all about just being prolific. Being prolific. If you create 10 videos a week, I promise you, at least, I don't know, a minimum, even if you're doing it for the first time, you haven't got a clue what you're doing, minimum of 3 or 4 of them are going to be great. People are going to love them. And the more you do them, the more confident you are going to get. So let us know if that's been useful to you, and if you're going to start taking some kind of action on any of these platforms, and you know, and take your slice of that 5 billion. Sai says, made me think, don't waste time. Yeah, that's another thing. Don't waste time, guys. You can't waste time. Stop asking. Ultimately, it's 2 things. 1, don't ask for permission. You don't need it. You only need permission from yourself. 2, stop being so fucking apologetic about your existence in general. Oh, excuse me, would you mind if I just showed you my show reel? Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry about breathing and being alive. But, you know, is there any opportunity you might just happen to give me 10 seconds of your time? Bullshit. Hey, here's, I've created this. I really like it. You know, what's happened here? How have I gone? I seem to have blacked out. Let's have a look. I seem to have got a little bit of a blackout here on my phone. Give me some comments if you can see me, because I seem to have, oh, there you go. I'm back. It seems to have just blacked out a bit, but I'm back on now. I can see you, says Steve. It just gone off for me, Steve. That's how I monitor whether the stream's live, and how I see comments is by watching it on my phone, and it just went all black. I said, he said 1 and then 2, and then I went there. So yeah, 2 was stop being apologetic for your existence, you know, and actually just speak up ultimately and go, listen, I'm here. I deserve to be here, and you should watch this stuff. Not, oh, I'm so sorry, but would you mind? It'd be like a salesman. Imagine if a salesman came out of your house and knocked on the door and went, hi, I'm so sorry to bother you. I don't suppose you'd like to buy one of these, would you? You'd be like, no, absolutely not. If they're not saying you don't, went, hey, listen, this opportunity's not going to be around very long. This is amazing. You really need to look at this. The chances are you're going to at least have a look at it. If he knocks on and goes, you wouldn't want to buy one of these, would you? Almost apologising for it, you're going to be like, okay, if he doesn't even believe in it, then I'm not going to buy one. So you've got to believe in your own stuff ultimately, guys. So I hope that's useful, and you're going to start believing, you're going to start posting stuff and getting your slice of those 5 billion potential opportunities every single day. I want to end on a video that my friend Nav has created. It's another absolute motivation video. Massive props to Nav. I have no copyright over this, so hopefully it'll be allowed. Nav's the friend who's going to do the video with me, the live broadcast on getting your YouTube channel right, getting more eyeballs on it, and creating more opportunity with it. But he runs a channel called Absolute Motivation. Please subscribe to it. It's an amazing channel. Some of his stuff gets millions of views. Literally, these videos get millions of views. And I just think it's going to fire you up. I've chosen this video in particular because I think it kind of relates to getting yourself out there, and as Theodore Roosevelt says, putting your hat in the arena. And I want you guys to see it. I'm going to be back on Wednesday for the book club, guys. Scott said he lost his connection, but he's back. I think I lost my connection for a minute, Scott. That was probably it. Going to be back on Wednesday for the book club, The Present by Spencer Johnson. Get this book if you want to read it live with us. I'm going to be reading another chapter of it. It's an awesome book, very, very simple. It's got a great fable in it, really, about living in the present. Not living in the past, not living in the future, but not just living in the present, but utilizing 4 things in the present that you might not even know about in order to live a more fulfilled present, not just be present. It's a bit more in-depth than just going, live in the moment. There's actually 4 very specific things the book looks at. Thank you, Mary. Appreciate you. So that's Wednesday night at 9 p.m, guys. Do join me. And then I've got a podcast coming out definitely on Friday. I missed another week last Friday. I was so busy. But I do a podcast on iTunes called the Act on This TV podcast. Search for Act on This TV, all one word, subscribe. There's 28 episodes up at the moment. It's going to be one every single week. Fingers crossed, although I did miss 2 weeks throughout 2017. So until Wednesday, look after yourselves. Go and get your slice of that 5 billion opportunities a day. And here's Nav's video. Subscribe to him as well. Absolute Motivation on YouTube. I think you're going to enjoy this. All right. Appreciate you guys. If you're watching the replay, massive props to you as well. Bye for now.
Every passing minute is another chance to turn it all around.
Never believe a prediction that doesn't empower you. How many predictions have been thrown at you your whole life? If you believe predictions that do not empower you, you will wither away and die. Either physically die or your spirit will die as you just walk around the world like a carcass that is just following the masses. You will be given a lot of titles in your life. You will be told so many different things. You must only listen to that which empowers you.
And see, it's not important how long you live. What's important is how you live.
The first thing I believe you got to do to turn yourself around is really take control of your mind. Or specifically, you got to feed and strengthen the mind.
Guess what? You're going to make some mistakes. So the person who's never made a mistake hasn't done anything. If you're going to make some mistakes if you want to do something out here, you're going to fall flat on your face. You're going to be criticized when you come out into the arena called life. You're going to feel awkward and stupid and dumb sometimes. It goes with the territory. But it's okay.
Take charge of your own life, then walk away from the 95%. Don't go where they go. Don't do what they do. Don't talk like they talk. Develop you a whole new language. Don't use their vocabulary. Don't use their excuses. Once you look back on it, you will never turn back. You'll never go back to the old ways and the old language and the old neglect. Never.
Spend each day trying to be a little wiser than you were when you woke up. Discharge your duties faithfully and well. Step by step you get ahead, but not necessarily in fast spurts. But you build discipline by preparing for fast spurts. Slug it out 1 inch at a time, day by day. And at the end of the day, if you live long enough, most people get what they deserve.